Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today this is CC Research channel where we do research, where we talk about career paths, businesses and self-discovery. Okay, so welcome today. Here on my channel today we have another special guest. So you'll be meeting him soon. He will be telling us a little bit about himself, about his experience, about how he's able to fight challenges. He will be telling us so many things, the sweetest experience on campus when he was on campus, and the sad part of it too. So you'll be sharing it with us. So I want you to stay to the end of this tune so that you'll be able to get to know him, learn one or two things, and you'll be able to move ahead in your whole life too. Thank you once again. Thank you for joining us today. So let's now go straight to our special guest and let's meet him. Okay, can we meet you, sir?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Paul Nwosu. I'm a student of University of Ibadan. I'm a recent graduate from petroleum engineering.
When do you graduated?
I graduated last year December.
Good. Last year?
December.
So you're a fresh graduate?
Yes, I'm a fresh graduate.
Okay. So what course do you study in school?
Like I said, I did petroleum engineering.
Petroleum engineering?
Petroleum engineering.
Oh, good.
Yes.
So what year do you spend in school?
I spent, I think, a total of, because of ASU strike and all, I think I spent a total of about 5 years plus. 5 years plus.
5 years plus.
I resumed 2016.
Okay.
And we just finished December. So when you look at that, that's a long time. We're just supposed to spend about 4 years there, about 4 years.
Okay,
plus.
the course is a 4 years course.
It's a 5 years course, but you know that it's full session, 2 semesters is not 2 years. Like if you actually it's actually not 2 years. So it's just meant to be like, let's say 4 years and a couple of months. But with all the strikes, I think I experienced about 3 strikes and plus COVID. If you add everything together, I think that added like an extra year plus a couple of months. Okay. So altogether, I believe 5 years plus.
Okay. Is it the strike you are talking about? Is it in your first year or second year? Can you remember?
I think I experienced strike every single. Aside from this 500 level,
okay.
This last year, I think I experienced and 400 level. Yeah, there was strike in 100 level. I remember perfectly. After we resumed,
okay,
when we were about to start writing our first semester test,
okay.
Then we went on was it 2 months strike? Then 200 level there was strike, then 300 level there was strike, then 400 level there was COVID. So there's always something for particular levels. It's just this 500 that just went smoothly, and thank God. And look at now, there's strike. So thank God we finished before.
So there was strike even immediately after you finished.
Yeah. So,
wow.
That's
interesting. So all your journey so far in school, you've experienced 1 or 2 strikes before that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to know you better. Can we know your passion? Apart from what you study in school, what do you love doing?
So, when I was in, let's say, in 300 level, I came across some data science, and then, to be honest, I would not say I came across it because of research. Let's just say, in my department, there's this current trend because our work is more of like research work, petroleum engineering. There's a lot of research in petroleum engineering.
Okay.
So most people tend to start with data science, right?
Good.
So I learned that from my seniors. Most of them started with data science before they transitioned to something else, but at least most of them started with data science because it was easy for them to integrate it with petroleum engineering because of the amount of data that's in the oil and gas industry. So it's very easy for most petroleum engineers. From UI, we always start with data science before we transition to something else. Okay. So that's how I started. And then I remember perfectly, there was this competition, paper writing competition, and I wanted to really understand the concept. So I just researched. I found out about. I got interested in data science. So I just found a way to integrate the analytic aspect of data science with what I was working on, and I combined the two to write the paper. Okay. And so that's how I started my journey in data science before I transitioned to more or less machine learning. And then I've written a couple of technical papers that involved, all these machine learning algorithms, utilizing all these machine learning algorithms. Okay. And it has been fun. So, I write papers, I participate in technical paper competitions, and most of the times I always win. So that's what I do, more of technical writing and machine learning.
Can you share one of the award you won?
Well, okay, yeah. Recently, I think last month. Okay. Last month there was this competition at PTI, Petroleum Training Institute.
Petroleum Training Institute.
Yes. Okay. So before I start, let me just say, my department, we fall under a body, SP, Society of Petroleum Engineers. Okay. So SP is a very it's a recognized body internationally, and it's very structured. So we have normally every year we used to have this students conference, and there used to
Okay.
be a lot of competitions. There used to
Okay.
be the paper challenge, there used to be the paper competition,
Wow.
energy challenge competition,
Okay.
and then the petrol quiz.
Okay.
So I participated in the paper contest this year. I participated last year, funny
Okay.
enough. I came third last year when I
Third
participated.
last year.
But this time around, I
But you
came.
didn't give up. You
I,
tried.
yeah, I said I was going to come. I mean, because when I participated last year, I felt like I should have won. So just, I mean, I think I was, because it's more presentation and you have a particular time to speak,
Okay.
right? So I felt like I did not utilize my time well. That's what, took me down a little bit third. But this time around, I was like, no, I was going to win this thing because this was going to be my last time of participating in the competition.
Wow.
So I just went
As a
around.
student?
Yes, as a student,
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, I won. So it was really nice.
You won. What was your position?
First, I came first, yes.
Wow.
So it was very nice.
So what were you giving as a reward?
It's monetary.
Monetary,
yes,
wow.
monetary award, and then the
So
other
I believe you'll be
competitions.
sharing the money with us. Okay.
So that's it. Well, so far so good. It's been interesting. Like data science has just allowed me to work on a lot of projects, and
So
definitely I'm going to transition. Like I said, for us in
transition to what?
I want to really dive deep into the full data pipeline. Like I want to understand data engineering, like data
okay.
management systems. Like I really want to put myself out
Into
there.
it.
I don't just want to be a data analyst. I want to actually understand the whole data
Okay.
pipeline.
Okay.
So that's what I've been trying to do right
Please,
now.
can you share with us one of the analysis you've done using your petroleum data?
Okay. Let's see. I've done a couple of lot. Let's see. All right. So one I would want to talk about is one thing I always tell people is that the oil and gas industry is just a sector of the energy industry, right? So most times people tend to call us petroleum engineers, but they forget that we are actually under the energy industry, which means our main goal as petroleum engineers is to bring out oil and gas from the ground, which are sources of energy, right?
Okay.
So most times they tend to look at petroleum engineers as people that pollute the world and people
Yeah,
that
you
cause
produce petroleum.
yes, pollute the world and people that cause environmental degradation and all, but they forget that oil and gas, they are source of energy, and without these sources, there are a lot of things we'll not be able to do, right? So there was this in particular project I worked in. I called it mapping out energy sources, right?
Okay.
So I showed a flow line. I showed them using Sankey diagrams. Sankey diagrams are like flow chart. I showed how, I showed the full process of how a lot of all these energy sources are gotten and how they are being transformed to the end product.
Wow.
So I tried to break it down and let people know that okay, yes, we are talking about the fact that oil and gas is their dirty sources of energy compared to renewable sources, but when you look at it, it's still the same oil this is the same oil or gas that you use to generate electricity. So when you look at it, because of your excessive use of electricity, you are making us to look for more oil and gas, and then so it's not necessarily the fault of the petroleum engineers for bringing oil out of the ground, but you also you also have a part to play because you are using a lot of energy, so you're also contributing to the amount of emissions because you make use of it. So that's what I tried to explain with that project, just showing them the full pipeline and letting them know that okay, oil and gas is a source, they're a source of energy, but at the same time everybody has a part to play in keeping the environment clean.
Okay, good. That's a nice one. In your data science, can you tell us one of the tools you use for your data?
I use Python, SQL, Excel. Those are the three.
You use Python?
Yes.
What else?
SQL.
SQL, that's the database?
Yes, SQL and Excel.
And Excel for your database, okay. To do your exploratory analysis. Okay, then you apply machine learning to. Can you tell us one of the algorithm or model you've used for your machine learning?
To be honest, I'm more of a data analyst, but the few projects I've worked on, yes, I've worked on a couple of machine learning projects that involve me using a couple of algorithms, such as the deep neural network, random forest. I've done it, but that's really not my specialty. I'm more of visualization and
Okay,
analysis.
so let's get back to your life on campus. Okay, can you tell us one of the bad experiences?
Okay. My worst experience.
when you were on campus.
My worst experience. I mean, when I was in undergraduate level, at that particular point, I think it's a common trend. Everybody, when you get into undergraduate level, you just want to focus on, building your GP and all. I think that's a common trend. It's only few that would, let's say, have discovered themselves and not really care about, the CGPA, the result and all. But I mean, after seeing my first semester result, it was so bad. I mean, I cried. That was the only time I've cried in school. I felt so bad because I just felt like I disappointed.
Can you share with us your grade?
Okay, yeah, we use a 7-point scale, so I had like a 4.7, like
4 point is still okay.
4 point. But no, I mean, that was not what
But
I was
that's not
looking
what
for.
you're
Yeah,
expecting.
like it was,
Oh,
it was
okay.
just too bad. I mean, and funny enough, I think it would have been worse. Thank God for that strike. There was a strike before. I mean, that was when I started picking up on a lot of things. If not, it would have really been bad.
Bad.
So I really struggled with, trying to understand how the academic system works, how to read and, structure a lot of things.
So you're able to maximize the strike period to be able to pick up
Yes, but
one or two things.
But at the end of the day, I still ended up with 4.7. But it was helpful because, like I said, it gave me perspective about how to read. So after seeing my 4.7, I picked up and I worked on it. I became better. And funny enough, second semester down 100 level, I had a 7.0. So together, I ended up with 5.8 at the end of 100 level. So it was really
That's great.
yeah.
That's great. Okay, then share with us one of your happiest moments on campus.
Yes, wow.
You have so many, right?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of words. I felt like for every particular level, 100, I was 100, 200. There's always something about me. There's always something I was trying to do. Like 100 level, I really focused on my grade. Then 200 level, I was like, and I went from being someone that, let's say, does not know how to read to someone that everybody now looked up to in terms of academics, right? So 200 level, I now dives deep into academics. Then 300 level, I felt like, okay, I've been doing too much of academics. I wanted to improve my social life. So I mean, I got into that. Yeah, and I mean, it was nice. It affected my GPA, but not too bad. But I really enjoyed myself. Then 400 level, 400 level was quite interesting because I now decided to run for president of my department. So it was really
President
politics.
of your department.
Yeah, and I ended up winning. So yeah, let's say that was one of the highlights of my stay in campus when I won, because it was very intentional. Like, people did not expect it, and most times I used to say to myself that when I look at myself in 100 level, I'm pretty sure my classmates would have not believed that I would have been the one to be the president.
The president of the department.
I mean, it's really nice.
Interesting. Okay, for our viewers looking at you, maybe someone is just looking for admission into school. What's your advice to the person?
Wow, I think a lot of things are changing right now, right?
Okay.
Like there was a particular time, petroleum engineering was one of the most lucrative courses you would want to enter, because I mean, if you enter the oil and gas industry, you're going to make money, right?
Yes, everybody know there's money in oil and gas.
Yes, but now I mean, there's tech, right? So
There's tech now.
Tech is like the new oil. So I feel like
so the new oil we have now is now tech.
yes, I feel like it's confirmed and it's something that people are really making money out from. So my advice for anybody that would come into school would be, I don't know, I would not want you to force yourself to learn a skill, but it's advisable. And there's always this time factor that if you start early, right, it will pay out for you earlier. Because I mean, take for example someone that started coding as a young child. Imagine getting into the university while you're imagine the amount of things you'll be able to do before you even leave. So you become a guru, and there's just a high chance that you'll be wanted. People will chase you because you actually know a lot of things.
Okay.
So definitely my advice would be, if you know you want to come into, if you know you're coming to school, and my own personal advice would just be learn a technical skill. Just start programming. You could either do UI UX, just learn a test
either
skill.
graphics or programming.
Yeah, and then because when you come into school, you scale it up higher, and then from there you meet people that will inspire you, that will drive you to do better. And then it's definitely pay off, that's for sure. Tech will always pay off.
Okay, let me just add to that. No matter what department you will study or you want to study, there's no way you will not make use of computer.
Yeah.
There's no way you will not use your computer maybe to do your assignment, to do your research, to do one or two things. So while you are still at home waiting for JAM, waiting for admission, so you can get yourself engaged to learn one or two skills that will actually help you. Whether you want to go into modeling later, or fashion designer, or catering work, you will always need tech. You want your business to be online, so you always need this, so you can get yourself engaged in one or two things. Okay, thank you once again. Thank you. So if you are just joining us on this channel, this is a research channel where we do a lot of research about business, career, and self-discovery too. So that's what we do on this channel. So if you are just joining us, we have our guest here with us, Mr Nwosu. He has been discussing so many things about us, his career journey when he was in the University of Ibadan. Another thing I want to ask you is, for students that are on campus, that are presently on campus experiencing one strike or the other, what is your advice for them?
The only thing it's kind of an obvious choice, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why
This
would
is the second month of the strike.
yeah, like you should
Okay.
have started learning something by now for sure, taking advantage of the strike. I think that's one thing that helped me during my own particular during all the strikes I experienced, because it was always during that period that I had time to work on a lot of things. I mean, my first strike, I started with PowerPoint though, like I didn't even start with all this, like that was the first thing I learned, PowerPoint, and
Good.
that actually helped me later in all my presentations. Like most of the time, something that's always unique about me when I'm presenting is my slides. I pay attention to it, so I'm very good at that. So most times when I win my all those paper presentations, not just my work, it's not just the way I speak, but rather the slides also contribute to that. So all your skills at the end of the day will always accumulate to something bigger. So definitely just learn something right now, whatever it is. Just make sure you're learning something as long as it's related to tech.
What about if I want to learn and I don't have the money? So what should I do? Or how can I still learn?
Money, like what do you mean money? Because nowadays, if as long as you have a computer and as long as you have good internet,
Okay.
there are always free resources, right?
Oh, okay.
In fact, most times I would advise people to start with free resources at least to get a good perspective for what you're about to do before you now go ahead to now pay for a specialized course. But it's always good for you to start with free resources.
Free resources like which
On
one?
YouTube, there are a lot of whatever you want to do, you'll find it on YouTube. You'll definitely find it on YouTube. Then from there, you can now proceed to, let's say, online platforms like, let's say, Coursera, Udemy. In fact, even Coursera offers a lot of free courses. You just have to be, particular about searching for it and applying for whatever you need to apply for.
Okay, the last question I'll ask you before I let you go for today.
Okay.
I don't know why you are not serving. I suppose you are a fresh graduate, supposed to
Yeah.
join batch A. Why did you decided to stay back?
I mean, to be honest, I just decided that I must understand, like I must definitely get a good job in tech before I go for service. Like so I've been learning a lot of things. Like I still want to like dive into the full pipeline of data. So that's why I've just been trying to learn a couple of things before I go for service. Obviously I will still go for service, right? But I just want to make sure I understand what I want to do. Right? So, because there's no rush. Like I know everybody's going for service, like that's the common thing to do, but
when you
I don't want to finish.
You want to start collecting the Halloween.
Yes. Why would I? Like there's no rule that says I must follow that path, right? So I just have to make sure I know what I want to do first.
Which is very important. It's always important you know what you want to do, then know how to get there and start the journey. So which is all about discovering yourself. It's not don't join the crowd to do what the crowd is doing, but what will make you happy is to discover yourself, then follow the channel, follow the trend, and be able to do something meaningful with your life. So thank you today for joining us. This is Mr Research channel again. I believe you will learn one or two things. So meet you again till next time that we meet. Bye.